Is a nationalist case for globalism. Very important topic right now, not only in the United States, but in Europe and other parts of the world. Let's hear your nationalist case for globalism.
Yeah, so if you disengage from the world, the instability in terms of those economies, diseases that can spread globally very quickly, there's lots of reasons why that's going to hurt you. And so even if you say that the normal sort of empathetic humanitarian reasons of all lives have equal value and it bothers you that young children are dying in those countries, even if you zero that out, my view is that the impact per dollar of the aid, which in the case of the US is not even 0.5% of the budget, that as General Mattis has said, that if you don't fund the aid budget, you'll have to spend more money on bullets. And that case that, getting Vietnam to develop, and so we no longer think of it as, a place we need to send soldiers to. Now it's actually done well enough, it's graduating as an aid recipient. That is, its domestic resources are funding things. India's graduating, Indonesia's graduating. Africa's a tougher set of countries, but even there, the health improvements, which is a foundational piece, the health improvements have been super rapid, and that's the place where our foundation plays a strong role. We've given over $10 billion to these health-related activities, and we've seen a fantastic result. So, we're going to keep doing that.
It seems, though, a very difficult case to make in the world today, in the US and internationally. Is that fact a blip? In other words, are we just happening to encounter temporary opposition to that view of a nationalist case for globalism, or is this the way it is going to be going forward? What's your position on that?
Well, definitely, if people are disappointed in their government, they feel like it's not respecting their values, or it's not prioritizing them, or let somebody else get in a better deal than they get, that just general negativity can lead to the government not being able to invest in these long-term issues. And if voters feel like, okay, the elites kind of like doing this stuff, and the elites are not caring about us, that really hurts. So it's absolutely a wave of questioning, a lot of things, but including should we be in alliances with other countries like NATO? Should we, the US, take this leading role in helping make the world a very, very stable place, or we should just, sort of say, okay, that's a waste of money. We won't help out with those things. Since World War II, you've almost taken for granted that the world is getting more stable and that these investments make sense. I'm hoping it's a cyclical thing, particularly if we can, get people to go and see the work. Anybody who goes and sees it, gets very drawn in, because you see the kids who are still dying, you see the kids who are surviving, you see how, it's very little money. And this is the investment. That stability is important even here in the US. We don't want Ebola or a flu coming out of developing countries and coming here.
What would you say on this topic to President Trump and congressional leaders?
Well, I haven't seen him for quite a while, but the American voters should be very proud of these programs that President Bush started. He said that there was an AIDS emergency and created a US-only thing called PEPFAR that's very generous, over $5 billion a year. He said the US would be a third of the global fund, where lots and lots of countries give. So the US has been out in front, and 23 million people are alive today because of that generosity. So, I'd want him to go and see that, meet those people and think about, okay, Africa, we've got this great population growth. It's got a challenge from climate change. That's where most of the challenge will be, should we stay engaged there with aid programs that aren't gigantic? I mean, the U.S., our defense budget is way larger than anybody else's. The aid budget isn't 5% of the defense budget, and yet it does help with the same kind of aims.
It seems like you've been engaging a little bit more politically. You were on Capitol Hill just recently talking about nuclear energy. Are you doing that willingly, or do you see that as something that you have to do to get your message across these days?
Well, the foundation can't achieve ambitious goals in global health without deep partnerships with the rich countries that provide most of the aid. So that we put in 10 billion, but the rich countries put in 90 billion, and that's why we have these big results. And there's no way, if they pull back to replace that, it's just going to result in millions of deaths. I try and talk to politicians mostly about the topics where I'm spending lots of money and able to spend tons of time with the scientists, and that people are very analytic, and so hopefully I have some information that's helpful to them.
So I remember from talking with you on this topic last time on the issue of the political climate, and I remember listening back, and you were being careful not to explicitly criticize President Trump. Is that a purposeful approach on your part to be careful not to become a lightning rod or a target in that way?
Well, I'm one voter. I have one vote. There are areas like development aid where the Trump administration in its first year suggested a 20% cut. And we were very vocal about, we disagreed, that 5 million lives would be lost due to HIV because of that. The good news is that the Congress, including a lot of Republicans, didn't even put that to a vote. They said, no, our values are such, our belief in that America's not so poor that we can't help out with this $100 medicine that keeps people alive. That reflects our values, and we're not, we have this super strong economy, and so, deciding to make cuts to let people die isn't a priority for us. So the Congress has been great for the aid type issues that we work on. So when it comes to an area that, we are putting billions of our money into, and that we get to go out and see the things, we will speak out. Every other political issue, we have to be careful because we don't know a lot more, then we're diluting our voice on the issues where we feel strongly and we're deeply involved.
Bill Gates, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Good to see you. Yeah.